Have you ever wished you could get all the sweetness you want but without any of the guilt? Well, today we're going to show you exactly how to grow your very own Stevia, a completely natural, zero-calorie sweetener right at home. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? You're in the grocery store, just staring at that huge wall of sweeteners. On one hand, you've got sugar and all its downsides. On the other, you've got artificial sweeteners that can just taste, well, artificial. It really feels like you have to choose the lesser of two evils. But what if the perfect answer wasn't on a shelf at all? What if it was growing in your own backyard?
Well, let me introduce you to Stevia. This isn't some new age lab creation. Nope. This is an absolutely incredible plant, a natural wonder, with a really deep history that might just change the way you think about sweetness forever. So what exactly is Stevia? Its fancy name is Stevia rebaudiana, and you might be surprised to learn it's actually in the same family as sunflowers. For centuries, the Guarani people in what's now Paraguay have been using its leaves. They call it ca-he-he, which literally means sweet herb. So right away, you know this is a plant with a real story, not some chemical cooked up in a lab. Okay, get ready for this because this number's kind of mind-blowing. The leaves of the stevia plant are somewhere between 200 and 400 times sweeter than regular table sugar. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. And here's the real kicker. All of that intense, incredible sweetness comes with absolutely 0 calories, none. So how is that even possible? Well, the secret is in these little natural compounds called steviol glycosides. You can think of them as tiny molecules of pure sweetness packed inside the leaves. They hit your taste buds and register as intensely sweet, but your body doesn't actually process them as calories. It's like a magic trick, but it's just pure plant-powered science. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sure, I can find stevia products in any grocery store. And you're right, you can. But why would you settle for that when you can grow your own? Trust me, this is so much more than just another gardening project. It's a really simple but powerful step toward a healthier and more sustainable way of living. Let's just quickly break down why this is such a fantastic idea. First off, it's going to save you money. One single plant can give you a massive supply. Second, you're in complete control of the purity. No weird fillers, no pesticides, nothing but the pure leaf. Third, the freshness is just unbeatable. It tastes cleaner, more potent, and of course, it's a super sustainable choice that's good for the planet. Plus, let's be honest, there's just a simple, deeply satisfying joy that comes from using something you grew with your own 2 hands. All right, feeling inspired? I thought so. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and walk through exactly how to grow this stuff. And don't you worry, you don't need to be some master gardener for this. It's way simpler than you might think. To grow a really happy stevia plant, you've got to give it a happy home. Just remember where it comes from, a subtropical climate, so it absolutely loves warmth and sun. And here's a key tip. The more sun it gets, we're talking 6, even 8 hours a day, the sweeter its leaves are going to be. You pair that with some good, fertile soil that drains well, and keep it moist but not drowning, and you are good to go. Okay, so where do you begin? You've basically got 3 options here. You could start from seeds, but I gotta be honest with you, they're notoriously tricky to get going. Cuttings are a much better bet, especially if you have a friend with a healthy plant. But really, my top advice for anyone just starting out, just go to a local nursery and buy a small starter plant. It's by far the easiest and most reliable way to get yourself started on the right foot. All right, you've got your plant. Let's get it settled in. Find the sunniest spot you've got in your garden or grab a pretty big pot. About 10 or 12 inches is great. The most important thing is to wait until any chance of frost has passed. Give it some room to breathe, maybe 12 to 18 inches between plants, and once it's in, give it a really nice, deep drink of water to help it settle into its new home. Now, you want to know the secret to getting a massive harvest from just one plant? It's all about pruning. It's super simple. When the plant is young, just pinch off the very top growing tips. This little trick encourages the plant to grow bushy and wide instead of tall and spindly, which means way more leaves for you. And another pro tip, if you start to see little flower buds forming, pinch those off too. That signals the plant to put all its energy back into making those leaves as sweet as possible. So you've done the work, you've taken care of your plant, and now you have this beautiful, thriving stevia bush. And now, my friends, comes the best part, turning that harvest into pure, delicious, natural sweetness. Listen closely, because timing is everything when it comes to getting the best flavor. The absolute sweet spot for harvesting is in the late summer, right before you see the plants start to make flowers. That is the moment when the leaves are absolutely packed with the most sweetness and potency. It's a small window, but hitting it makes all the difference in the world.
Now, to store your amazing harvest, you've got to dry the leaves. You've got a few ways to do this. Air drying is the old school traditional method. It's easy, but it takes a while. If you have a food dehydrator, that's your fastest and most consistent option. You can even use your oven if you put it on the absolute lowest temperature setting and maybe prop the door open a bit. Just be really careful not to accidentally cook them. And if you want to make a really convenient liquid sweetener, it's so easy. Just take some of your crushed dry leaves and steep them in hot water. Then you just let that mixture sit for a day or two. After that, strain out all the leaf bits and pour that beautiful, sweet liquid into a little dropper bottle. You can keep it in the fridge and you've got your very own homemade liquid stevia ready whenever you need it. Okay, this might be the most important piece of advice I give you today. Your homegrown stevia is going to be strong, and I mean seriously potent. A tiny little bit goes a very, very long way. Always start with just a tiny pinch or a single drop, taste it, and then add more if you need it. Trust me on this one. It is really easy to overdo it at first. So as we start to wrap up here, I hope you're seeing that this is really about more than just putting a plant in the ground. This is about fundamentally changing your relationship with sweetness and taking back control over what you put into your body. Think about it. Every single time you sweeten your morning coffee or tea with a leaf from your own garden, you're doing so much more than just gardening. You're making an active choice for your health, for sustainability, and for self-sufficiency. It's just a small plant, but it represents a really big, positive shift in your life. This whole journey from a tiny little plant to a sweet harvest that you can use every day is one of the most rewarding things you can experience as a home gardener. It's about forging a real connection to your food. So what do you say? Are you ready to get out there and start cultivating your own sweeter future?